We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, would interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. Today, I'm joined with, you said you wanted to go by Matt Moore?
Mattward.
Mattward?
Mattward.
Mattward.
Preposition.
Okay. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing beautifully.
Sweet.
It's been much better weather for my constitution.
Yeah, it was a little chilly in here. But, like, when I first got up, fall's kicking in here in Kentucky, man. So, I'm going to take the mic just a little bit. The first time I met you, dude, so I work at Clark's. Everyone knows that who listens. I don't know, man, like, there's, I'm not trying to trash talk, like, Kentucky or nothing, but, like, there is, like, a lot of NPCs, and I think you get that anywhere. But, like, you were, like, one of the few people who became, like, a regular coming in, and you seemed, like, cool as fuck. I guess you had said you're going to move soon, right?
Yeah, I'm moving north.
That's cool. You said New York upstate or something, or
just north?
North, okay, yeah. I like anyone who listens, they know like I fucking love conspiracies and shit. And you would come in with that Curious George shirt holding the skull. And I was like, I didn't even see the number on the side of the skull, but I just remember you coming in with that, and I was like, that's what the image was, right? Curious,
yeah. And I call that. Oh shoot, I forgot the name of the character. It's the son of the king who loses it in Shakespeare's. Drawing a blank. It's anyway. It's,
okay.
Basically, it's a soliloquy.
Hamlet,
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. When he's holding the skull,
right?
Yeah, to be or not to be.
So I always liked the idea of Curious George. It's an interesting story, Curious George, because you have this guy that's going into the jungle, grabbing a monkey, coming back, and then it's all the adventures that
the man in the yellow hat.
Yeah, and he's a curious monkey, and I always, since I was a kid, I always liked the idea of just a curious monkey, but curious about things other than just like getting in trouble and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so eventually I liked the idea of Curious George, or I called him Don Jorge de Curioso.
Okay.
Which probably means nothing, but I liked
it. Sounds cool. It's like sounds Latin.
I like the idea of him being like, I don't know, maybe Curious George's cousin or something. And I also called him
he's family.
Sometimes I even called him Furious George from that Simpsons episode. You remember that?
No, but that would be a good punk rock band name. Dude. Furious George.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
The episode, they have monkeys have a knife fight, and Mr. Burns has got money on Furious George.
Of course he would.
Anyway, so I picked up some street art kind of tendencies with things I was working with image-wise, and I thought, I like to tell little stories as jokes, I think, to people, and I started to put the ideas that were in the jokes into little pieces, and I always felt like,
kind of like memes almost.
yeah, but something that you can't not see. Like, you can stay off the internet and miss the memes, but to take an image and smack somebody in the face with it
Yeah.
was kind of the intention. But I also wanted to make it so that it was like a softer image. You know what I mean? So it's not just something that does just smack you in the face. But
It's not like violent. It's
Yeah.
Curious George, man. Yeah.
and put enough elements into it that a person could be like, wait a minute, there's a skull that has
Mhm.
322. Maybe they'll get on the internet and find out what that means.
That's what I was going to get into, man. So I didn't notice the 322 at first. Like, I have pretty good vision, but like I think I was just busy and in my own little world in the kitchen. And I just thought it was Curious George with a skull. I was like, oh, that's pretty punk rock. And I was like, dude, that shirt is sick. And you're like, yeah, did you see what's on the skull? And so the average listener who's like a fan of this channel and conspiracy will know where this is going. But so you walked up and I seen it a little closer. I said 322. I said, oh shit, man, this guy knows, dude. Like, this guy's awake, man. He's red pilled. I didn't say that, but I was thinking it, and I said, oh, okay, so you know about Skull and Bones. You said, yeah, do you? I said, it's so secret we can't even talk about it. And that's an old reference from an interview. I can't remember the interviewer. Yeah, but it was with George Bush. But do you remember the interviewer?
Yeah. He actually died not terribly long after that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I've always found that a little factoid worth mentioning.
Because he confronted Junior, JR, and then he confronted Carrie.
Yeah.
Because they're both Bonesmen.
Yeah.
Junior, okay, so Senior and Junior, it was Gog and Magog were their Bonesmen's names. And then...
That's what I've heard.
Huh?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and then Carrie's is Long Devil.
I had not heard that.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I just found it interesting, and I was like, okay, this dude's into conspiracy. So, eventually, he's like, hey, I found this chick, talking about you, Matt, and I'm gonna move. And I'm like, okay. And, man, my boss, I love him to death, but sometimes, he's kind of cool sometimes, man, he's fucking nosy. So, like, I was like, okay, well, I didn't even plan on interviewing you. I just wanted to see if you were, like, to keep in touch. I was going to give you my phone number for one, so that way you could just text and shit. But also, I was like, hey, man, since you're moving, I'm just going to give you my podcast info, so that way you can, like, listen to me and shit if you want. And, yeah, you said you had been on, like, multiple other podcasts, so, like, I ended up... What other podcasts have you been on? I'm just curious.
I've been on a few, just as a walk-on, you know. Unfortunately, the only channel that I've been on, which is called the Fractal Tangent several times,
Okay.
basically doesn't function anymore. And I don't know if it's because the guy that runs it just took the videos down, or if Odyssey is just acting, it's on the permanent fritz for some reason.
Dude, see, I tried to get on Odyssey, man, and me and Sammy, we couldn't get it to fucking work. We couldn't figure it out. I don't know if we were just not on it, because I know there's a dude I listen to, The Quartering. He's pretty cool.
I know The Quartering.
Yeah, Jeremy, and he's always talking about it. I can't remember. Is it a distributor, or is it kind of like Spotify, like just a platform?
It's just, I mean, it's pretty much like YouTube, but it's supposedly decentralized in terms of its architecture, its video storage and reproduction. It's, what do they call that? Where it's blockchain-based data, parsing. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, basically what it means is, like, some videos seem to age out. They get to a certain age and they just don't work anymore. And at least that's how I perceive it.
Yeah.
But the channel is useless. So I'm going to get back in touch with him eventually about it. But
that's cool.
It's not really important because he's kind of out. Like, I'm going to probably start doing something completely different on the internet.
What are your plans? Like, what do you mean? With your art?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Tell me that direction. What you're gonna plan? Like, what's your plans, man?
So I love the idea of the human voice as the first instrument.
Yeah, definitely.
And so my interest is in creating an instrument sort of the human voice and involving a whole lot of other details that, are kind of jargony and hard to get to in the course of a conversation. I don't want to put people to sleep, but I'm
Sometimes putting people to sleep is kind of nice, though. You know what I mean? I'll put purposely sleepful stuff on sometimes when I'm trying to sleep. Like, I'm just gonna listen to an audiobook of J.R.R. Tolkien, and go to sleep.
I've literally had people go to sleep at a lecture that I've put on.
You did a lecture?
I've done a number of different lectures.
That's pretty dope. Where'd you lecture at? Like colleges or like
No, nothing that grandiose. But there was a series that this Korean youth hostel was putting on, where they had people come in and talk about dorkbot kind of projects, or I don't know what the equivalent now is, but little science experiments or even motivational speaking or something like that.
Like a TED Talk almost?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everything I've done's kind of been like a TED Talk. But it's been mostly just in the Far East.
That's cool. What the fuck was I gonna say? Oh, dude. So anyways, like, when I had found out that he's like awake, red pilled, we got to talking about, we were outside, and Ange, man, my fucking boss, dude, I had purposely said to you too, I said, hey, I want to talk to you outside for a second, because I try to keep this channel like
on the low down.
Yeah, because I talk shit about my work, because it's my life, dude. I talk about my life, and he is so fucking nosy, dude.
Oh, sure.
Did you see him come out? He came out and lit up a cigarette, and I purposely said I wanted to talk to you alone. And you had been talking about, just in that little short convo when I was writing down my info, you said something about a tank melting or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I said, oh, it's like some top secret shit. And he heard that. So when you left, when I was going back in, he looked over and he took a puff and he said, top secret, huh? And I went,
that's weird.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you being fucking nosy? Get out of my fucking ass, dude.
That's
you know what I
weird
mean?
behavior.
Yeah, that's passive aggressive, and I don't know, man. He's from New York. He's Italian. I don't know if that's like that type of thing. I'm not trying to be racist, but maybe that's just how they act around in New York or whatever.
I think if we can stick it to anybody,
it'd be all right.
It'd be the Italians.
The Romans. They killed Jesus, dude.
Let's not get carried away.
But, dude, so then you came up to me sometime like last week or whatever, sometime this month. Do you care to share the HOTT story? I love that story, man.
So,
not to put you on the spot.
No, yeah, that's fine.
It's a good fucking story.
I used to live in Upper East Tennessee in this tiny little community, and my neighbor, when I was probably 13 years old, her uncle died, and he was a shut-in kind of. He lived alone in this trailer, and so they hired some neighborhood kids to just take all the stuff from in the house and put it in a dumpster. So that's what we did. And they said, anything that you want, that you find, you can just have it. Well, my buddy found a box of girly mags and, a bunch of tapes, cassette tapes. I noticed that it's been a popular image recently, cassette tapes. And I think it's like some kind of throwback. But anyway.
I've seen that too.
It's a nice design. Found
I dig it.
But so we find this box of girly mags, and it also has tapes, and the tape label is HOTT. So our pubescent brain goes crazy and thinks, oh, I bet these tapes are those tapes that you can put video on.
You got a dirty mind.
Well, we were all real curious. We all wanted to see. And so basically we took the tapes around and tried to play them in our friends' little... They used to sell these cameras that also played cassette tapes.
Yeah, because they're like the little tape that goes in the big one.
Right.
Yeah.
So long story short is I finally put the cassette tape into my tape deck, and the first thing I hear is that introduction to Hour of the Time.
Mm-hmm.
Lights out for your body, blood, and mind, or something like that.
Yeah, dude.
I was hooked immediately, but I didn't understand anything. Like you can imagine, when I was like 4, I didn't really listen to them until like months later.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm 33 years old. I've been a conspiracy theorist for a minute, and there's still episodes that he be going into some stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is Cooper talking about, dude?
He knows he was on a very focused path of information. He wanted to really go straight into a specific vein of this information set. And
yeah,
I really loved how he orchestrated that.
And dude, like, he was a wealth of knowledge, because like I know he had that compound out west in the desert or whatever, and it was either he was like not being egotistical, but he was bragging about his library, dude. And it was like multiple rooms, he said. Like, I have a dope-ass library, like it's all in storage now, but I had at least like one room of just hundreds of books. This motherfucker had like 2 or 3 fucking rooms, dude. I don't know. Cooper was the bee's knees.
I found his way of speaking to be understandable even at that age. It was really the realm of the topic itself that I couldn't get my head around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up in a very sort of orderly fashion up to a certain age. Probably around that time things took a twist. But so anyway, that was my introduction to behind the scenes stuff, except that's not exactly true.
Okay.
Because previous to that, sometimes the church that I went to would have like these people come and speak about the state of the world and so on and so forth. And there was this one guy who basically was talking about the so-called protocols to determine whether food or products of any type are safe. And so basically what he was saying is none of it. there's benefits to using it, and then there's detriments to using it. And so it's intentional. It's not something that's just an accident. It's not intentional and not necessarily in how something is put together or refined, but if they find instances, for example, of baby powder essence, whatever that stone is, talcum.
Yeah,
if they
talcum powder.
If they find that, and it just so happens to be carcinogenic, and it wouldn't be easy to prove it, then, fudge.
I can't remember, was talcum powder... Okay, Monsanto...
I don't even know if it was talcum powder.
I
just remember the Johnson & Johnson thing.
I think it's talcum powder, yeah. So, like, Monsanto, I know they were fucking with food. But they used to fuck with, what was it? DDT did a job on me. Now I am a real sickie. That spray shit that you put on fucking veggies, bro.
Dude, I lived in Colorado, and this was in the early aughts, and they were still spraying that shit here and there.
That's psycho, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And then they wonder why all these motherfuckers got cancer and shit.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you want to get to then, after that? Hour of the Time. So, yeah.
Which, dead air's fine. We edit this shit anyways.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. What were you saying? Because I had to... Ange came out, and I kind of wanted to cut the combo short with him, or with you, just because he's, like... Dude, Ange is, like, super fucking blue-pilled, man. This dude sucks. Listen to this crazy shit. So, this is just a little side tangent, but it's fine. So... This shows you his mind space. I worked with Michael at Kroger like a year or two ago, and he took the vaccine and shit. and Ange took the vaccine. They're like super pro vaccine. And he said one day, he said, dude, I kind of miss COVID sometimes. And I said, what? What are you talking about? And he said, I never understood the beauty of a woman's eyes until
God.
Listen, dude. I never understood the beauty of a woman's eyes until everyone had to wear masks. And I could focus more on females' eyes. And then I understood the beauty of a woman's eyes. And I'm like, you sick... I didn't say this, but I'm thinking in my head, you sick motherfucker, that was not the lesson we were supposed to learn from that.
Dude, it's a particular kind of control freak, and that's why they have women of their faces wrapped up in a number of places in the world for the very same reason, except they can't identify it as such. They just... it's a subconscious thing. He's just bringing the subconscious to the surface.
Ain't that crazy, man? I don't know. It blew my fucking brain. I came home and I told Sammy, I'm like, dude, you will not believe what this motherfucker said today.
I would believe it. I know a lot of nutty people that miss COVID, and a lot of it had to do with an inflated sense of self-worth and value.
I think the only positive thing that I can say about COVID, which I heard a lot of people saying within the conspiracy community, was it was like a point where people started doing their own businesses. Like families who were working all the time, they actually got to spend time together.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool.
But it also led to ruinous financial situations.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, the only positive I can say is, like, those little things. Like, maybe a husband and wife who never get to see each other got to actually embrace more.
If they were already in pretty good shape, I think that it was good.
Yeah.
But there were some relationships that would have probably made it had not then this financial thing dropped.
Because you do need your space, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I love Sam to death, man. We don't see each other, like, as much as we want to. But, like, being around each other 24/7, I don't think that's, like, super healthy. Probably not. For certain people, I don't know. There's some people who could do it, though.
I think that the big thing that I notice about myself in relationships is that I do need time with just dudes once in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some bromance. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what that means exactly, but
it's kind of like fraternity, like brotherly, like just hanging, chilling with the dudes. Yeah.
With less ass grabbery, I'm in.
With less ass grabbery.
I can hang. But
do you want to tickle and roll around after this?
Oh my god. I got chicken pox.
Oh, do you? But so when I was out there talking to you, you had said something about a melting tank.
Oh, yeah.
I caught like a fragment. What the fuck were you talking about?
My dad's not with us anymore. And
sorry.
It's actually was a great relief because he was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But, so anyway, he used to be an M1 Abrams tank commander. And one of the jobs that he had on when he was doing maneuvers was to reset this basically like a swamp or overgrown, brushy kind of place where there were miserable creatures that would attack you. Evidently like badgers or something like that. Anyway, so you had to escort the guys that would build and rebuild targets for their training. So, one time him and his crew come back to the border of that forest. It was really dense, and their military carrier thing was there waiting for them, but they couldn't leave yet because something was going to be happening.
So was he was in warfare?
I don't believe he saw any action. But
what were they doing? Just fucking around with Abrams? Just like experimenting with them?
Yeah. Basically, well, they were setting up those targets so that they could target practice with tanks. So anyway, he's back at the tree line there, and the guy that is there in the Humvee waiting for him basically says, hey, come over here and take a look at this. You're about to see something pretty crazy. So I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but he hands him the binoculars, and my dad sits there for like 40 minutes looking through the binoculars, and he says, I can't tell you when it's going to happen. So you just got to keep looking because it's so far away you won't be able to see it otherwise. So he's sitting there with these binoculars, and all of a sudden, he had pointed out, the fellow that told him, look down there at that Abrams, and it was like a gutted, salvage piece of shell, basically, for a tank.
Yeah, for a target.
Yeah. But it was substantial. It was still had its frame, and so it wasn't just like...
They're recycling it.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, with ammo, just blowing it up and shit.
I think they do that as well.
Yeah.
So this thing's sitting out there, and all of a sudden, my dad says that it turned into a roiling donut of molten metal. And it did not take long for it to happen. He didn't see what the thing was that catalyzed that, but that this Abrams frame body, it wasn't just gutted, this machine. So it was a lot of metal.
It just melted.
It just turned into like a donut that folded in on itself.
Like it got microwaved, maybe?
I guess that might be one conclusion you could come to.
Do you think they showed him like direct energy weapon or something?
You look at the patents on directed energy weapons now, and they do say these. It had to have a pedigree of research. It had to have development for a long time before it actually came.
Yeah.
And then by the time it already came, it was like early aughts, wasn't it?
Dude, aughts?
2000s?
Okay. Sorry. I've never heard that lingo, man. You said it earlier, and I just went, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But early 2000, yeah, you're talking about the patents?
Yeah.
Or the declassification of the patents?
Well, that too, and also the background of research and development.
Dude, I'm so glad you came by, because I needed to hear this, man. And I wanted to hear it that day, but fucking Ange. So...
that dude's always on my ass to get the damn card.
Yeah, I know. He wants everybody on paper.
I don't want the card. I don't care about paying extra. You can't have my phone number, and I'm not gonna fake it.
Yeah. He doesn't understand either that like companies sell info and shit. Yeah.
Anyway.
But so that kind of reminds me, speak of the devil, of going back to Cooper. You know the story where Cooper was in Vietnam and he's seen that UFO come out of the water, right. The saucer, and they wanted him to see it. He thinks they wanted him to see it.
Yeah.
They got him into ufology. Ufology was the psyop for Bluebeam, and then he figured it out and went, oh shit. Then he became anti-ufology, remember?
Yeah.
You know all that shit.
Yeah.
Do you think they were just like, we want to show this dude what we can do, like direct energy weapon, like, do you think they were wanting him to see it? Because you said, what was it like? I guess his higher up was telling him look through the binoculars, watch it.
I think it was his captain, or it wasn't anybody too far up the chain. But yeah, it was more or less like a, hey, you want to see something crazy? Here's some binoculars.
Check this shit out. Well, actually, it reminds me of that Bill Hicks joke. Do you like Bill Hicks?
Yeah, decently well.
Do you remember the one where he's talking about the weapons catalog?
Right.
Bring up G4.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
and then
doubt
he goes, neat.
Bring
up G6.
There's a lot of instances of very advanced, specifically bombing campaigns that were so well calculated that they were upgraded in the description of events.
So this wasn't a physical missile, though, right? It was just like, he just seen it. Donut.
He didn't see a beam. He didn't see anything.
No sound.
No sound. But it was very, very, very far away. Basically, he could see. It looked at a distance, even through the binoculars.
I ain't gonna lie, dude. The only thing that I can think of. What year was this? You said again.
I believe that was 94.
Okay.
Could be 96 as late as 96. Yeah.
This kind of gets into like flat Earth a little bit. I don't know how you feel. How you feel about that, but
well, we already talked about flat Earth a little bit previously, but
in person?
Yeah. Well, no, on the phone.
Okay. I don't. Yeah.
So I remember when the Flat Earth Society was.
Yeah, that's right, dude. Okay, go on.
Well, just that it was it was pointing at a problem in our society, I think, and the way the media has shaped our perception of how science goes. And basically, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because now even peer review often means little to nothing, because the infiltration of wishful thinking, hoping that something is true and not realizing that creates bias incipiently.
It's become scientism, really.
Yeah. So, the Flat Earth Society at that time was basically pointing the finger and saying, you don't understand what you think you know. And category error is just an absolute, stumbling block for especially intellectuals, because sometimes it's the perfect blind spot. So, long story short, the epistemology was being challenged by the Flat Earth Society. They weren't saying that anything of the sort, that you should take what their name is literally. It was basically pointing the finger and saying, you think you know something you actually don't understand, and we want you to understand.
Yeah.
So here's a little bait to draw you in.
And so you don't think like, do you think like, it wasn't so much that the Earth is flat. They were just pointing out that we don't fucking understand what we're on.
It's black box.
Yeah, dude.
So the black box, as long as it remains closed, you don't understand what's happening around you. You're not perceiving it correctly.
And I like the route they went with that title, Flat Earth, because most people, that would draw your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kind of like the 322 we were talking about.
Yep.
Oh, what the fuck is 322?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, because you'd go, Flat Earth, what the fuck? And then you'd start listening, you actually believe that? Yeah, it draws your attention, kind of like the birds aren't real shit. Do you remember that?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Which that, I think, was just a troll, but it drew everyone's attention.
There are drones that have the appearance of bird-like
Yeah,
qualities.
dude, I seen that shit.
That's gonna make people's brains
China's
explode.
got drone birds. You seen that? Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got drone birds.
Yeah, and the CIA, have you heard that one where the CIA used a cat? So it was actually a failed experiment. They only did it once. They put a microphone in a cat's ear, and they released it, and they were wanting it to there was an experiment they were doing. They had these two guys talking, and they released the cat. And by the way, it's not like a dog. You can train a dog to be like, okay, go over there. Like canine units and shit. Cat's kind of hard to train to be like, go over there. So this motherfucker just ran into the road and he got ran over. And the CIA,
millions of dollars down the drain.
The CIA was like, okay, we're done with the microphone cat. It's so stupid. It's a true story too. Look it up. Yeah, it's hilarious.
So have you ever heard about these bats with incendiary devices that were released in Japan during World War II?
Yeah, the bombing bats. Yeah, the bomb bats. Yeah.
Bomb bats. Sounds like Rastas.
But the reason I had brought up Flat Earth was so if lower Earth orbit, because I'm kind of very agnostic, right? I do believe we have stuff in lower Earth orbit. I guess lower Earth orbit, that's underneath the Van Allen radiation belt, I believe, if science is correct, right?
That's what I understand.
Yeah, because there's lower Earth orbit, the Van Allen radiation belt, and then outer space. And the moon, is moon in lower Earth orbit, or is it in outer space?
I would say it's obviously within orbit, but I couldn't tell you what degree.
Okay.
I don't know if there's something going around outside the moon.
Dude, Neil deGrasse Tyson is flipping the fuck out right now. He don't listen to this shit, but if he did, he's like, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
But anyways,
say it. I just
with your dad though, this is what I was thinking.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just theorizing. I think it was Reagan who started Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
So that was supposed to be satellites with laser beams, right?
As far as what we consider, process is basically the president didn't do shit.
But you know what I'm saying? We heard about Star Wars.
Yeah, well, Star Wars is just a front for something else too. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? Like a black project or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Like a money laundering?
Of course, everything.
Do you think that was like chest pump shit? Like, hey, this is what we got up in space, dude.
Well, I see more evidence of a sort of 1984 arrangement of governments basically recognizing that the enemy that the true enemy of the highest ranks of power is the population, and you've got to basically keep them off balance so that they don't cook you up. So the whole you remember in 1984 how all of these nations were constantly at war, but behind the scenes they were all just like, okay, this is population management.
Dude, that's when I called bullshit when I was a little kid, right? Because, like, okay, it's like fucking wrestling, dude. It is, though.
Kayfabe.
Yeah, so, like, we hate Russia. But yet, Putin and Trump are, like, shaking hands and hanging out.
It benefits the corporations that are the true backbone of any international interaction.
And I remember just being a little kid going, this don't make sense, man.
Well, you're looking at the hand that is doing the thing and not the hand that they want you to look at.
Yeah, look over here, not there.
Do you know that the base word shared between fascism and fascination?
Fasci?
Basically, they have the same word origin for the base word.
Yeah.
So that is.
I love etymology, by the way. That's my kicks, man. Yeah.
That really tells you a lot about, our situation. As long as you're looking at the hand that's, doing the flourish,
yeah,
you're not going to see what's happening.
Yeah.
And the president coming out and declaring that, Star Wars and all this bullshit, that's just the flourish of the hand. I mean, whatever's happening there is likely completely inconsequential.
Because I was thinking, if your dad did see direct energy weapon, maybe it came from Star Wars. But then it kind of reminds me of the whole Hawaii thing, right? The Maui fires.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a theory out there that the Maui fires came from, there's I guess like a mountain nearby that was like a government site that they think they like beamed it from the mountain, which would make more sense than Star Wars. You know what I mean? Because we gotta actually like put like belief that there's like shit up there. You know what I mean?
There are so many observational organizations that keep track of everything in Earth's orbit.
I guess the question, and you probably wouldn't know, and I don't know if your father described it, but like, I'm just so fucking curious what the terrain was like around there. If they had something high up on a
Idaho,
mountain.
And it was basically flat land.
So there was no mountain that they could have beamed
it.
It
Might have been a mountain, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some details that I never quite got.
Yeah. So do you think that was top secret? Do you think he was even allowed to tell you?
I think at the time it might have been top secret.
But he's like, this is my boy. I'm
but
going to tell him.
He was not, he was not long for this world anyway when he told me, several stories of
That's when you get the nuggets, man.
It's because, a lot of it's because I was a conspiracy theorist, so-called, before he was. And as he had things revealed to him, we started to bond a little bit over that. That's
pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a good dad. My dad's in prison.
Yeah.
But, like, that's cool, man, that you guys, like, did you guys grow closer, like, through conspiracies and shit?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's sick as fuck,
man. It was something along the lines of, hey, have you heard this one? Kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, kind of what we're doing now.
Yeah,
I dig it, dude. But, yeah. I had to hear that tank shit, though, man. So, well, I was going to ask when you first woke up, but you kind of told me that.
I don't know if the waking up had as much to do with Bill Cooper as it did with some of the earliest, like I've had a lot of head injuries.
Me too, dude.
Had a lot of near-death experiences. And
Whoa! You did?
Yeah.
Like, what? Tell me about that, man.
When I was real little, probably the first one that I had was I was in a creek bed, and this kid that was younger than me, and I was, I think, 6 or 7, threw a cinder block, and it just hit me square in the head.
God damn! Like
Yeah.
the corner of it, or
Yeah.
flat?
I mean, I don't have any idea.
Yeah, you just
Out. All I know is I kind of came to a little bit on the ride to the hospital, and I thought I was going to die, and my mom was there, and I basically just said, I love you, Mom, but maybe I got to go, you know?
Oh, man.
And, yeah, ever since then, I can't, it's an unconscious, largely process that I was going through just then.
Yeah.
But the tiptoe into oblivion has just made it very difficult to reconcile what I see behind the curtain with what's on the screen in front of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's been
It changes your reality because,
absolutely.
Yeah, dude. But I'm listening.
Well, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. See, I had a concussion when I was a kid, man. And then I had another head injury when I was in jail. And it alters reality, man. Like, yeah, I feel like you slip into something else, especially where it's so near death.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's that theory, I forget what they call it. It's something, the theory name is actually really negative sounding. It's something suicide. But it's like, we live forever, but we slip into different realities. Like, we don't live forever, but it's almost like I probably died multiple times, but the old me died and I slipped into a different reality. I guess it kind of gets into realities if you believe in multiple universes, you know? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think.
So, like, you might have died then, but that was the old you, and then you slipped into a new reality. So
you're talking about the idea that we create new at every turning point in perception, more or less. That I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
But,
it's hard to put words on.
By degree, I
Yeah.
guess. Then you create a new timeline, and there's
Yeah.
a separation. One of you went one way, and one went the other. And
Yep.
that's so far beyond what I can even point to as like something I could understand. I'm not even going to try to profess it, but I will say
It hurts your brain.
well, no,
It hurts my brain.
It's to me, it gets to the point where I just got to ask myself, well, how could I know that? And if I've bumped up against the line there, I need to study more, or I need to stop trying to like pretend like I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, the reality of of matter itself, the tangible universe is so confounding. It's not really necessary to make it even crazier with time slip theories or whatever that's called.
I ain't gonna lie, dude. I kind of like this dude Sam Tripoli, man. I know you said you don't listen to him. You should check him out. He's pretty sick. Oh, you have?
Yeah, hasn't he done comedy before too?
Yeah, he does comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went and seen him in Louisville. It's pretty dope. He kind of believes, like, I guess it's almost Nordic of like realms. Like, we're in a realm. And I like that word because it's not so much simulation theory, because simulation theory is very like digital Skynet, beep 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 boop, like 1001, all that shit. Realms are kind of cool because like the Nordics or whatever. I had a boss at Kroger, and he that was his religion, was like Nordic stuff, like Vikings and all that. But I guess they described like everything as like realms, like gods, the lowercase gods had their own universes and realms, and I don't know, like they were talking about fucking multiverses back in ancient times, but that's how they described it, was realms. I don't know. I think we're in a realm. Like, this is a realm we're in.
I like to think about experiences that I've had with extreme, like spirit plants or psychedelics or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Where, like, Salvia divinorum, for example.
You did salvia?
Plenty. I even chewed the leaves.
Okay.
And you do just have a complete rearrangement of your perceptions. And it's not just your physical perceptions, but there is sort of a lingering memory, I guess you'd say, of the extreme removal from physical reality that you could experience there. You don't have a body.
Mm-hmm.
You're witnessing the interior of what looks like a cell. Weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
And to make a long explanation short, that comes back in certain encounters in the conscious mind, I think, and even very logically. It is as if that information, it's like a chaotic set, just needs a framework where then it becomes useful.
Some form of order out of chaos, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And there's the case of Carl Jung talking to a physicist, I think, named Pauli.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to a podcast recently about this.
Jung is cool. I like him.
Yeah. And so there's all of these physicists at the time, like Bohr and Planck and Schrodinger and all these characters. And
the dude Schrodinger's cat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so they're all talking about the complexities of the nature of reality. And a lot of it, you know, has everything to do with sort of figuring out how to stratify the manifest until it gets to the point where they're talking to Jung because they're recognizing that the symbolic level of that realm has an effect on what is perceived. And that there's a feedback loop between what is perceived and what is manifested as a behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, here we're talking about, you know, alternate timelines and realms, and really it's just sort of just the layers of perception.
Yeah.
It's all on us. That I mean, another thing that I experienced on extreme doses of psychedelics is the recognition that there are so many things happening right now in this realm, and it doesn't matter that it could be all in my head. And it doesn't matter because there ain't no all in my head. There's, you know, you start to look at the body as an environment itself.
Yeah.
It's an environment interacting with another environment. Whatever's deeper than the environment that I'm perceiving from in my body, which is hopefully more of my body at all times. But, you know, you become decrepit. But that's weird enough.
Yeah, mortality kicks in. But, like, my thing is what got me the other day, dude, was, and this is like science, this is what they tell us, but, like, I think they said, like, 10% of what you see is, like, actual sight. 90% is fucking memory, homie.
Yeah.
So, like, your face right now, I'm only actually seeing, like, 10% of it visually, physically. The other 90% is like, oh, this is how I remember you look from when you come into the store.
I think that you remember when there was this kind of trope or meme, I guess, of you only use 10% of your brain.
Yeah.
I think that might be a bit similar to this description of vision and memory, how they overlap, because
right,
it's really hard. I mean, I'd be interested to know what their experiment was to show this to be the case.
I would like to hear it, especially that you said Jung and Schrodinger. Like, I'm big fans of them. I like them. Have you ever checked out? Well, do you like Jordan Maxwell? He's pretty sick.
I do for some things. Honestly, there's some tracks that he goes down that are just not interesting to me. I don't, for example, the Sumerian mythology is translated by
Sitchin.
Sitchin.
Yeah.
It's unreliable.
I fell into that one.
And
when I was younger.
But to tell you the truth,
I think there is something to ancient astronaut theory, though.
Well, I don't have I couldn't explain why that would be impossible, so I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
But I think there's plenty of examples of technologies that we have now that, if put in the proper presentation, could convince people that like Project Bluebeam. Going back to that. Yeah. Like there's so much going on in the human mind that's unaccounted for, and this might be part of that vision memory thing that can be activated, and that's what the last 2 centuries were kind of about in terms of the pioneering sciences. Yeah. And basically how to render a mind,
I like Joseph Campbell, like archetypes and shit. Bluebeam though, dude, do you think they could pull that shit off?
They wouldn't have to do it.
What do you mean? Like they would just psyop us through media?
I'm gonna tell you some crazy shit here.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to go.
This is your dad's dad?
My mom's dad.
Okay.
Used to go to this big meeting called the IFFB, the Independent Fundamental. Wait a minute. Independent Fundamental. Something of Fundamental Baptist. The Independent something of Fundamental Baptist, right?
Okay.
So
you grew up Protestant like me then?
I mean, I've always been kind of even when I believed, I was seeing something different. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they had interviewed
Well, I'm not
me,
saying your actual faith. I'm saying you grew up Protestant.
I grew up in that environment.
Okay. Because there's Protestant and Catholic. I didn't know. Yeah. Okay.
So more or less, this whole thing was talking about prophecy all the time.
Yeah, dude.
Talking about prophecy and so-called history.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing that was very early in my mind is that, wow, they're saying this is something God's doing, but in every case, it's something that they're doing or trying to figure out how to do. Mm-hmm. And when they get it done, they say, oh, it's God. Yeah. That was, to me, like one of the first things that put my eye to religion as a mental predilection. Mm-hmm. Or at least religiosity. But one begets the other. And I saw to the extent that the IFFB was basically trying to bring about the circumstances of the so-called rapture, and I found that to be very confusing and upsetting to me, because basically they had so many people on board with this idea that it could be, you could look at this thing and see, okay, it's called prophecy, but it's really self-fulfilling prophecy. They're bringing it about, but they're calling it the will of God so that they can get it to come about. It's just...
I think it ties in with fucking Sabbatean Frankism.
Well,
man.
Can't get away from that.
That to me is the fucking hidden hand. Everyone always asks, well, they put the generic term like the Illuminati, which is, there was an actual Illuminati, like with Adam Weishaupt and shit, you know. But like, I think if someone had to like literally put their finger on who the fuck is doing this evil shit, I think it's fucking Sabbatean Frankism, man. And not many people talk about it.
Well, it's not the original. The original is, just a product of the city cult.
Like Babylon.
It could be. It could be basically anywhere where people go from living a very almost savage lifestyle to living close to each other, and then trying to mitigate the transition between being savage and civilized, or hopefully something in between. but in different proportion to what's probably the best for society. But anyway, they always would have sacrifice as part of the deal. You know what I mean?
Like bail and shit.
All just any city cult. It's just trying to impose the civilized mind creates all sorts of
I know the
contradiction.
The Roman women would drown the babies, man. Yeah.
So
before the men would go to war and shit. Yeah.
So there's no end to these deceptions, but I think that the important thing is that it's been made covert, and it's because humans as a whole have kind of been trending towards being more and more civilized.
I should hope so.
Well, I should hope so too, but as that's happened, they've had to become more covert. They've had to go from, doing weird shit to kids in public with being cheered on to private, where if they got caught or found out, they'd be dealt with.
Yeah. That shit bums me out, man. The kid stuff.
Well, the goal for them is to actually bring society back to the point where it is overt.
I think that too, man. Kind of like Fall of Rome state of like, because how often do you think of Rome?
Once or twice a week, according to the meme.
Yeah, same, dude. But like Fall of Rome, like Bacchanalia, Saturnalia, like just that heathenistic. Like you said, it's more overt, and I definitely see that. I mean, and that ties in with cultural Marxism. Like Yuri Bezmenov, like debauchery, just where it is just out in the open of like, hey, today's kid fucking day. That's the holiday today, and everyone's just like parades and carnivals.
It wasn't terribly long ago that on daytime news television, they had a little boy dressed in a very provocative fashion, writhing around on the floor while these monkeys in the audience just clapped and
Was
clapped.
this the Tom Hanks one?
I don't know about that. I mean, I've heard all kinds of different stories about that, but this was a kid who was like a drag queen or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring him on this show, dressed male or female. This would have been just weird to have a child do.
Writhing around
Very suggestively, and these seals,
just applauding,
nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was like, wait a minute, that's a weird thing to do. I mean, if the kid had been, I don't even know if the audience would have reacted the same. Obviously, they just get paid to clap,
Yeah.
But if there had been a stripper pole out there, you think they'd still be quite as into it, or would that just be too far?
Too far, yeah.
It was and then to tell you the truth, before that, and this is a weird thing that the Christian community was just hunky-dory with a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Participants claim to be so.
Mm-hmm.
Were prominent members of the church. These the beauty pageants for little girls.
I've always thought that shit was
that
fucking
shit's
weird.
twisted.
Yeah, I've always thought that shit was weird.
They're trying to make their physically immature child appear more physically mature. And there's a really disturbing psychology to that.
Oh, and think about like the judges of that. Like, some of them are like
gotta be
20, 30-year-old single men and shit. It's like, what are you doing here, homie?
Yeah, this is number one. What are you doing here? But what are these women doing here? With their children. And you will I remember, my sister liked to watch this bullshit. It was like a TV show that would just be on,
Right.
I'm not turning my sister TV show
like
on.
bubblegum for the brain.
What have you.
Yeah.
And it was a show, a documentary about, this ongoing documentary. I think it was on Bravo, one of these shit channels.
Yeah.
Lifetime. But
Ted Turner had it.
Probably.
Yeah, he owned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and this is twisted. It's just bizarre that the people with the camera are not just like, this is a step too far.
I'm gonna call into work tomorrow.
I'm gonna call the police.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
I mean, these women were often having some kind of vicarious experience of sensuality based on how their little girls were performing in this circular relationship between the judges, the child, and her.
Yeah.
To the point that they would even like bring up the expressions on these judges' faces, and just like
it's weird.
It just got so disgusting.
And you know what's crazy is there's like this like fairy tale that like women can't be creeps too. You know?
Oh yeah. That's
they can be
bullshit.
fucking creeps too, man. Look at Ghislaine, dude.
Man, I knew this lady who was pimped by a teacher, a female teacher.
It was a chick pimped by another chick. Yeah.
And well, the teacher and the student, but after hearing to what degree the female school board members and whatnot were, any level of power that makes people feel like they have something in common over on somebody else, it just invites this specialness all of a sudden, and now I should be able to get away with whatever I want to do, no matter who it hurts. And
and it goes back to like basics of like sociopathy and psychopathy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not like a fucking psychologist, but I think it comes back to those two definitely. Like these elites, they're either sociopathic or psychopathic. It's like one of the two, I feel.
I wrote a short story one time, and it's funny because I read something recently that kind of had an echo of it. But the idea was that at the heights of power, you've got two factions, and both of them think that they're on top of the other. One of those factions believes that God split into everything that exists, and that it's their job to return everything to God.
And I am listening. You can keep going. I gotta pee though.
I got to go next though.
Okay. I'm listening.
But that God split into all the constituent parts of the universe, and that it's their mission to reverse that and unify God again. All right?
Yeah.
And then another faction says, oh, that's crazy, but we would like to really just have the entire world to ourselves, so we're going to push that occult ideology in all of its different degrees upon people who enjoy their psychopathy or their sociopathy.
Right.
And so there's this weird back and forth between, the people that just want the world for themselves, so they don't even care if they think the other group is so nuts that how are they going to pull off us dying too?
Right.
But it's not true. They both have sort of a dyad going on. Like they have like a permanent interaction because one begets the other. So I wrote that into a science fiction story, and then I saw that when I told you about Christopher John Bjorkness, I came back to that and read it again. It's like, damn, that's not too distant from what I wanted to kind of, like, you start imagining what could be in these people's minds that they would do these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just there's got to be some kind of a commonality of insanity for the whole thing.
It's something weird because I mean, and all of this is word of mouth, but I've heard they kind of believe. I did like, by the way, what you were talking about of God like being blasted away, like I don't know. I've always thought that maybe God was a schizophrenic. His mind blew up and we're pieces of shards of the glass, like we're all fragments of God. You know. I don't know. That's just my little psycho novel.
Esoteric.
Yeah. But I've heard like these motherfuckers believe in like reincarnation and shit. That like.
Oh, and their own children.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like bloodlines.
That's why it is obsession.
Yeah. So like they're not worried about their actions here because they're like, I live forever. I'm just gonna be reincarnated through them. And they will even like induce labor on certain dates and certain times. Sure. It goes into like star charts and shit.
This is a good opportunity to bring up an interesting character.
Which, if you gotta pee, we can stop and then I can.
Yeah, I go pee.
Because I know you said you had to go too. You ain't gotta like hold it. All right, now we're recording again. So, not yesterday. Yesterday I wanted to keep it short because I wanted to save all the goodies for today. But the pre-interview, when you hit me up and said, "Hey, this is Matt from the gas station," because you know my thoughts on Sabbatean Frankism. Frank, though, you said, and I never even thought of this. Like, obviously, behind Darth Vader, there's fucking that Sith Lord dude who shoots lightning bolts. Where did Frank get his shit from? You were kind of talking about him, right? Like a precursor?
Well, Zevi, Sabbatean, is that what his name is?
That's the dude that Frank got his shit from?
No, that was Frank got his shit from that. In 1666, he formed this huge
1666, bro.
Sorry. He proclaimed himself the Messiah and basically convinced a huge portion of the community from whence he came to embrace this idea that to fulfill prophecy, because the prophecies included all of this debauchery or evidence of man's further fallenness, that to bring that about intentionally, kind of not too dissimilar from how the so-called Christians at the Fundamental Baptist Convention are trying to bring it about, and they no longer care what these genociders do, for example.
Mm-hmm.
To make a long story short, to do that meant to defile oneself to the degree that God put God's plan into motion to deal with such events. So there you go. You get, whatever evil you can conjure is the evil you should do, because it brings about the fulfillment of prophecy. And the sooner that happens, the sooner the God collects the souls again.
And they think that they're going to have like a special safe place because of that. I
haven't gotten into it long,
Yeah.
I haven't scrutinized it to the degree that I can speak so intelligently on it, but that's not as far as, but that's a lot just,
So there's a buddy of mine who owns a ministry. He wants to become a preacher, and it's whatever. It's cool. I talk to him a lot, dude, and he's real big into like prophecies and the Book of Revelation and all that jazz. To put it nicely, but I told him, man. So like last year, yeah, it was either last year or the year before, the Euphrates River dried up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
right.
Dude, this is a prophecy in the Book of Revelation, man. And I'm like, and all these Christian channels, because I watch everyone, baby. I don't like to be in an echo chamber. I watch Christians, I watch atheists, I watch Satanists, I watch everyone.
It's good to know what they want you to think.
Yeah, exactly. But all these Christian channels were like, dude, the Euphrates River dried up. The prophecies are coming true. And I'm like, homie, it took me 2 seconds to research and go, oh, the Euphrates River dried up because they built a fucking dam.
Mm.
So they're literally forcing prophecy with man-made shit. Like, I can force that shit.
Dude, that's the...
Oops, shit. Whoa, what was that?
It was a full can, I think. Is that it right there?
No, I don't know. That's not it. But, okay. But, yeah, dude, like, a lot of these prophecies, man, are fucking man-made shit.
Of course.
Like the building of the third temple that they're doing now.
Or the red heifer thing.
Yeah, where they genetically
modify an animal to the point where it's probably got brittle bone disease or some bullshit like that. But it's red.
Yeah.
Head to toe.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
Yep. It's a lot of this prophecy shit you can just fucking do.
And all of it still has its origin in the story of the stars, and that's an important thing. Basically all of this stuff is subversion because they know it.
Yeah.
At the heights of occult understanding of this machine called Earth. But yeah,
I dig that machine called Earth. I like it. Sorry.
That's kind of
that would be a good band name too.
Machine called Earth.
I keep coming back to band names.
I like band names and album titles and all that stuff. Coming up with them randomly, but there's just so many layers of power, and everybody is trying to maintain or advance their level of power. And what the old saying goes, the greatest thing the devil ever did was to convince no one he existed. Well, I don't believe in the devil, really.
Same.
But the concept, I think, the further you can go behind the scenes and still get what you need done, the further you're going to go behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it kind of goes back to that pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Right.
They always want us to pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Right.
Well,
or the man in the deep underground military base.
Yeah. Dude, speak of the devil. I heard this video the other day. I don't even remember who it was, but it was a short clip. This lady, she was an astral projector, and she said that she astral projected to a dumb, and I don't know if this is true. It's just fun, but she said while she was astral projecting through the dumb, she was walking through the hallways and shit, and there was like other astral projectors in the hallway that she ran from, and she ran into like a broom closet. And then she got out of the broom closet when they passed, and she went into this office, and there was like the two mortal bodies of men in like military uniforms, like in chairs, just dozed off. They were the other astral projectors, guarding the facility, dude, in the astral realm. I don't know, it's fucking trippy.
Well, Russell Targ, I believe, is a character that's interesting. He does the remote viewing. He did remote viewing for the CIA, I think is what his story is.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but
I've never heard of him, so I'm interested.
I think his last name is Targ, just like it sounds.
Okay.
But I am interested in special states, specifically how to set the stage within the body for, even if it's a superficial capability, but to enter into greater sensitivity in many different ways, you know what I mean?
Right.
Learning how to focus it, hone that. So that would include remote viewing, I think. But just like there's a blurry line between de-randomization and probability rendering, there's also a blurry line between capacity to view remotely and capacity to project.
Right.
So that to me is representative of something that I see across all of these, ideation or visualization of reality. They're talking about realms, talking about alternative timelines, this sort of thing. That's sort of the fudge area, the gray area that has so many different sort of separate acknowledgments, strata, I guess you'd say, that it's why would you, should you waste time trying to pick it apart? I don't know if it's worth it to me. I may have thought it was worth it at some point in my life, but yeah, it's kind of
a mute task.
Well, I don't know that I would say that specifically. It's just there are a few valuable things that you can point to that an understanding of it offers you right away.
Yeah.
Intuition, I think, flow state, being able to
flow like water.
Could be that.
Yeah.
Or music, for example. I really love the mental staging of my mind when I'm in the zone.
Do you create music?
Sometimes.
What do you make? Like electronic, industrial stuff, like
no
electronic stuff, or actual physical music?
Well, I like to build instruments for one, and that's kind of a fun thing.
Invent them?
Some of them are innovations, but I wouldn't call them inventions.
What have you built?
But like a stand-up wash basin.
That's fucking cool. I want one so bad, dude.
It floats. It's not.
Are they hard to make?
Mine is.
Because I've always seen the hillbilly one is they took like a broomstick,
right,
through a bucket, a metal bucket. How'd you make yours, man?
I wanted the bell to resonate. more than the original design where you put your foot up on the thing and pull the string, right?
Yeah.
So I took parts from a garage door opener and spring-loaded stuff from this work that I have and created it so that the bell has tension put on it the more you pull it back, but you don't have to push something against the bell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a fret. Like
No, but you can't get the same. I like to attempt to hit all the half tones and everything with it, but it's like a trombone. It's like playing a trombone.
Yeah, is it like a one string?
Yeah.
It's a metal wire?
No.
It's what'd you use for the string?
Nylon cord.
That's like a bungee, right?
No, it's like what you'd use to hang laundry out with.
Oh, okay, like a clothesline.
In this case, it's an automatic pool cover cord because they're tough as hell, and they stay in the dark.
I dig it.
Anyway, so I like that. I sing constantly.
Me too, man. Yeah.
So I like to go and perform in any capacity that I can. I like to continue to improve my voice.
You said you did Bjork karaoke or something the other night when we were talking.
Bjorkioki?
Bjorkioki? Is that what you call it? That's awesome. Dude, I love Bjork, man.
Yeah, I love Bjork too.
So what was that like? You just do karaoke?
Yeah, once in a while.
You go to like bars and shit?
Usually.
That's cool.
I like, if I can, my favorite karaoke is actually karaoke brunch.
Where's that at?
Nowhere around here.
Okay.
Last time I saw it was in Colorado.
Imagine that fucking singing in front of a group of people sober. That's fucking wild.
Well, they weren't sober. They were hungover.
They were hungover?
I mean, it was brunch on a Sunday.
Did they have mimosas at least?
They had mimosas.
Okay, cool. So everybody was feeling it.
Yeah. And you weren't really, you weren't at all encouraged. In fact, I don't think they had categories of hard music.
Cause dude, when I used to sing, man, dude, my fucking knees would knock. You ever get so fucking nervous your knees knock, man? I get like that with heights, like super high shit. I just start, ooh, fuck. Or like right before I sing, but once you get out there, like at least with the stage though, the lights are on you, so it's all black, you can't see anything. But like, dude, like, I don't know, it's so freaky. I love it though. Once it's done and over with, you're like, dude, that was a rush, you know? But yeah.
I haven't gotten that for a while. I did Toastmasters for a while there.
What's that?
It's like a public speaking program that helps you organize your thoughts and then create cogent arguments and then
teach you how to speak publicly.
Speak publicly in a very well ordered fashion.
I think I would get something out of that because I remember, I'll never fucking forget, man. I was in high school and we had a creative writing class, and I had written something on Jim Morrison because that was my dude in high school, you know, which I still like Jim. Jim's cool. I mean, he's not the best person, but back then, you know, my idols were like Sid Vicious, Jim Morrison. Like, I wanted to be cool, you know. But I had to speak on fucking Jim Morrison because I didn't even know we were going to be speaking. She just told us to write about someone. So I'm like, I'm going to write about Jim Morrison. And she's like, all right, everyone's going to talk about their people. You got to come up to the podium and talk about them. Like, fuck. Dude, I got up there. I almost started crying. Like, I started reading it. I was like, because everyone was just like.
And how old were you?
This was high school.
So you hadn't been exposed to conspiracies and all that kind of stuff?
No, I grew up in my dad was a conspiracy theorist.
Gotcha.
So I was already like 1 foot out the womb.
You already knew about Bayet Tonkin and Jim Morrison's dad?
No, not that one. Yeah. I had known. So my dad was like, when I say I grew up as like a conspiracy theorist, like my dad was, his focuses were, for one, he would listen to Art Bell while we were driving around. Mm-hmm. But his things was like the Christian apocalypse, Book of Revelation, like he was into that shit. Ufology. Dude, he loved aliens and shit. So I grew up, he would talk about aliens, he would watch Star Wars, talk about like how God loved us so much on this planet that he created other planets and did the same stories over there. he's like, he probably has a Jesus alien Jesus over there. You know, like they have their own form of Christianity. But like, he would go to flea markets and he would get like the Alien Autopsy VHS. Do you remember that shit?
I think so. That was.
I think it was debunked, but we didn't know back then.
I remember it was on one of those TV shows that has like a variety of different conspiracies and things, and it just looked really poorly done.
It does. It looks cheesy as fuck. Yeah. But like, I don't know. So he was into that. He was into like Bigfoot, like the chill, consumable conspiracies.
I don't mean to interrupt too much, but
you're good.
There's something about cinematography that can tell a story, I think, and the way that the cinematography was done in those videos, you could tell it was cinematography.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was almost a trope of the visual style. The way it was a little jittery, zoomed in such and such way. It looked like you were watching a B movie, C movie, freaking fake.
Right, like they were trying to make it look legit.
Yeah, and it's kind of like this tone deafness of these spook agencies that they don't get that somebody sees that.
Was it actually a spook agency? Or an art project? No one knows.
Does it? I mean, does it matter? Because at a certain...
It reminds me of like found footage, like Blair Witch Project. Yeah.
But intentionally so. And it doesn't matter if it started out that way. People don't think that elaborate staging events can happen because most people don't recognize the vulnerability of their own perception, let alone the fact that there's people who also understand it and will exploit it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main hamstring. I don't know exactly where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it comes from our failing scientific education. But, you know, or even,
like real science, yeah.
Yeah, real science, or even just like they don't teach the logical fallacies anymore, hardly, in public school.
Well, dude, something I noticed with public schools. So, like, I worked for the school board for a little bit, Garrett County. I was a tutor in the middle school. This was, like, back in, like, 2009 or 2010. I was fucking on the school board, baby. Like a teacher. Not a teacher. I didn't go to school. But I was a tutor, I guess would be the term. Something that I fucking bummed me out when I was a kid was I was always the kid. Why?
Mm-hmm.
You know. Well, the sun goes around us and we go around it. Why? How do you know this? Who? When? Where? You know, the five, what was it? Who, what, when, where, how? You know. And we ain't got time for that, Abe. Chill out. You know, stop asking questions, dude. And I think they smudge that shit out when you're, like, young. Like, I don't know. And I mean, I get it because, like, adults are busy. You know. I get it. You're busy with your life. But, like, I don't know. I guess I was always asking like questions, and I wish that people had more patience, like especially with the school boards, education, American education. I think that children should be allowed to ask why more often, but they don't want that because it's all fucking Ghislaine Maxwell dads, textbooks, the Rockefeller shit. You know, the bell goes off. Let's prepare them for life, for factory jobs or prisons. They all look like fucking prisons, dude.
Well, I mean, there's a
sorry.
No, there's a materialist bent, and it didn't start with the world wars, but it's been a sort of I like to live somewhere between the magical and the logical.
Right.
And somewhere along the line, and it may be well justified because those nutty people in Europe had, finally they jumped the shark and went into ultra liberal territory. But when it was still the monarchies were still religious founded. I mean, that's kind of batshit crazy to have as a concept for the foundation of government.
Yeah, it goes back to the Vatican, dude.
Well, yeah, and otherwise, but so the drastically more materialist mentality has just taken a certain degree of dignity from us, because it reduces us to, you know, a common denominator at least.
And they get off on degrading us, dude.
Of course they do.
Yeah, we're toilet paper to them.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to. There's people that see us as more valuable often as we see each other and ourselves. But
what do you mean, like we're a currency, like useful idiots?
Not necessarily that. Like, imagine if you were immensely powerful and had limitless budget for a think tank.
They could use you.
So, you don't see those members of your think tank as, chattel or what have you.
Yeah.
But you do value them in a way that is not easy to manage, the more complex the needs are. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's a wide spectrum of how very powerful people see us, and some of them are more sympathetic than others, but in different aspects as well. Compartmentalized empathy, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are plenty of people in this world, though, that absolutely would have us die. Yes.
See, I would like to do actual, real philanthropy, man. Like, that word has been fucking hijacked with, like, scumbags like Bill Gates and shit. But, like actual, genuine philanthropy would be dope. Where was I going with this? But I don't even know.
It's hard to say what actual philanthropy is, because I've seen so many things go south with throwing money
with good intentions.
Dude,
that's kind of like prayer. Wow. I was listening to this one chick on Tinfoil Hat the other day, and she was talking about that she prays for people only if they ask. She never prays for people because she believes kind of like prayer is like a spell, right? So, like, I would never, if I was her, like, I would never pray for you or put a spell on you unless you asked me to do it. Because me trying to do something good and willing your existence could actually do you harm. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, let's say you want to get a new job. Let's just say Microsoft wants to hire you. They're right up the road. And I'm like, okay, I pray that Matt gets this new job. You might get hit by a fucking car on the way there and get killed. And now I just accidentally, inadvertently fucking murdered your ass. You know what I mean?
I mean, let's not get carried away.
But that's what she was kind of explaining. Yeah, that was her spiel of, like, I never pray for anyone unless they ask. Or, like,
I mean, I honestly have taken this sounds... Sometimes I hear myself talking, I'm like, what in the hell, this guy?
I am kind of woo-woo.
Well, no, yeah. I was just going to say that I've taken a lot of my code from Bushido.
Okay.
And so I don't involve myself in the gods, and I don't ask the gods to involve themselves in
You're me. Him and you stay in your lane.
I just don't want to, I don't need it, I don't want it, it's all sorted out. I've just got to walk the path and try and mature, you know what I mean?
That's a hard one.
Yeah, that's the whole point of life, if you ask me.
Yeah.
This is a conclusion I've come to, but the reason that I don't involve myself in the work of the gods or vice versa is just what you said. Just like, I mean, I don't know if I take such a, I don't necessarily think that prayer does what people think it does. It could very well. It might include many fewer.
Could be a loose grab by an archon or something, man.
Maybe. There's the sky's the limit.
Maybe that's my paranoia talking.
You watch a lot of science fiction growing up, this stuff's not crazy because it actually is of the mental realm. So symbolically, it means something.
So what do you think about, like, Gnosticism? That there's, like, archons? Like, don't go towards the light, dude. The moon's a soul trap.
Yeah, I don't...
That's crazy talk.
No, I mean, yeah, but no, it's all crazy talk.
Uh-huh.
I basically just try to have a dialectic with what I perceive and what anybody can explain to me of what they perceive. And I I know that if I get caught up in my own head and how I perceive things, that's one, rabbit hole that goes away from center. And then if I spend too much time taking in other people's perspective without testing it against mine, then I'm going down somebody else's rabbit hole.
Right.
Figuratively.
I would love to do this for a living, man. It'd be fucking dope.
Just interview people?
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
But,
dude, listen to this shit. I was telling Sammy last night. Sorry.
No?
Alex fucking Jones had a dude that worked under him. His name's Owen Schroyer.
I know who that is.
Okay. Owen Schroyer left. He quit. Alex Jones, so they've been playing like little clips of like him ranting, doing Alex Jones. He did a 9-hour fucking broadcast. Literally the one subject he ranted about was Owen Schroyer leaving. He talked about it for 9 fucking hours, dude. What a maniac.
Like a criticism of it?
Just going off, yelling, screaming, just acting nuts for 9 hours.
I can't imagine. I mean, he's a drunk.
Yeah.
He's a drunk.
A lot of people are saying he's back on the sauce. Yeah.
Oh, well, look at him. You don't look like that. His countenance. I mean, he's clearly a drunk.
Yeah, you remember when Cooper, like, Y2K happened? Do you remember? Yeah, you remember Y2K.
I don't mean to interrupt you further, but honestly, it doesn't matter necessarily to me that a person is a drunk. I actually have a lot of respect for a lot of drunks.
Yeah.
But you can't talk the kind of shit that he talks and be a drunk.
Yeah.
You have to have some sober time.
You're throwing stones in a glass house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, so.
But I don't know. I just thought that was crazy that, like, I mean, he made a living out of it he started off with fucking, what was it? What was the free channel that anyone was allowed to go on, like Channel 3 or whatever, like public broadcast?
Back in the day. Yeah,
dude, like when we had cable.
Oh, I remember when his background looked like shit and his lighting looked like shit. And, he didn't really. He had a pretty good format. It flowed and everything. But
do you think he's Bill Hicks, bro? What? I don't.
When you brought up Bill Hicks earlier, I thought that's what you were getting at.
That's my favorite comedian. I love Bill.
He gets a little preachy for me. I kind of like, okay, I've had enough being beat over the head.
He's rough. Him and Carlin are rough.
Yeah. Well, Carlin to me doesn't bother me as much, but...
I know you don't like Doug Stanhope. You said that.
It's not that I found a number of his bits to be hilarious. It's just...
He's rough.
I have a very visually oriented mind, so when somebody's describing something to me, I can't help but see it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see the shit that he talks about in my mind's eye.
He's gross, yeah.
It's disgusting. To hell with that. I mean, I don't even... To tell you the truth, I don't like most comedy because of this. They just got to talk about things I don't find savory.
So do you have, like, a weak stomach? Do you get, like...
I have a strong disgust reflex.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So when we start talking about poop,
yeah,
I get weirded out because it's just like... I can almost smell it.
Yeah,
you know what I
you
mean?
gotta like Mitch Hedberg, though.
Oh, I love Mitch Hedberg.
Dude, he was dope.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Yeah.
A dog is always in the push-up position.
Right.
It's so stupid.
He got on my nerves for the first, 5 years. I had a girlfriend that listened to him, and I was just like...
She loved him.
She loved him, and it was just...
And she probably thought he was cute.
I would literally leave. Yeah. Just because that way of talking just reminds me of so many of the shittiest people I've ever met in my life.
Just stoners.
Stoners that just have no code, they just
yeah,
whatever.
They get on your fucking nerves. Yeah.
And so he sounded like that to me. And actually it was after we broke up that I heard him again because I moved to Colorado and Denver has a comedy station, 24/7 comedy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, a radio station is just 24/7 stand up?
It did.
That's sick.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I heard him on that, and I was like, wow, you know what? This guy's actually pretty funny.
He's not bad. It's stupid jokes.
It's stupid jokes,
shit.
But some of them are genius.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Like the Angry Neighbor one, that one, I love that shit.
Oh, there's no door?
Yeah. Where the music's too loud and the guy keeps banging on the wall.
I could not let him in.
This is not a door. Go around.
It
makes you think. I don't know. And it's good visualization. But, so, do you like Cheech and Chong and shit?
Not really. They never really made me laugh. I would watch their movies.
What's your type of humor, then?
My type of humor, shit, man. I guess I guess I stopped searching for comedy as a source of humor,
Yeah.
and I've tried to find humor in my everyday life more and more. Now I do listen to podcasts once in a while, and sometimes they're funny.
Who
But
do you listen to? Just curious. Not trying to interrupt, but
I listen to kind of random stuff. Recently, I've been listening a lot to really detailed explanations of scripture, so-called, in the context of astrotheological mapping
yeah.
and stuff. And
hell
so
yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
like to advance the technology that I'm using to like star maps and this kind of thing.
This ain't podcast, but he used to do lectures. You like Manly P. Hall?
Of course.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He's the bee's
Yeah.
knees.
But there are actually podcasters now that have very good video of very good software that just map the known movements of the stars, and you can follow along with the stories that cross over into every religion you could imagine
Yeah.
from that, especially in the northern hemisphere, as far as it's accessible to us.
Right.
But yeah, it's very compelling to me. So I've been really trying to figure out a way to systematize telling that story without so far removed from something that would bump into a person's belief system that they're just downloading it, that they're just, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Have you ever read Mothman Prophecies?
I haven't read it. I think there was a movie though, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's got Richard Gere. He
Yeah.
supposedly put a gerbil up his ass. Was the
I've
conspiracy
heard
back in the day? That was
yeah.
that was
See,
like
that
was an urban legend.
That would be
Maybe.
that would be the topic of a joke that would kind of make me
Yeah. Sorry.
puke in my mouth.
Every time I see him, though, I think about gerbils. But anyways,
Lemmy Winks.
so Mothman Prophecies though gets into the macrocosm and microcosm, and I just remember reading this as like a fucking
Did you
20.
say microcosm?
It's microcosm and macrocosm, right?
Like chasm, like CHA.
Cosm.
Cosm. Okay.
Cosm.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
I love microcosm and macrocosm.
What is that?
I think you just coined these two new words.
I invent words a lot.
Well, there you go.
But
Yeah.
he like turned me on to the concept of microcosm and macrocosm. Like just like
As above, so below.
yeah, dude, yeah. Like I'd never fucking like knew about that shit, and here I was like a 26-year-old alone in my living room, and just like reading this shit like what the fuck? Never thought of it that way, dude. As above, so below. Yeah. And it kind of goes back to the stars and shit, because I mean we based our fucking maps off this shit. We used to it's literally a clock in the sky, dude. And like my wife, she's pretty cool. She can tell you like what time of day it is by the shadows and all this shit. Like I wish I'm so like 90s kid where like my dad never taught me that shit, like how to fucking the North Star. Like I don't even know which direction I'm pointing sometimes, like unless she told me like, is this north we're facing? Do you know?
Oh, at the moment?
Yeah.
No, north would kind of be that direction.
See, at least you know that. I couldn't fucking tell you. I'd be like, north is
Well,
there,
I
bro.
had to-
I'd be getting us lost in the woods on me.
I had to piece together the drive over here to figure that out.
Yeah, you're using the map, like the physical map.
I'm going
yeah.
from knowing which way one street runs.
That's the
to
below.
other.
Yeah. We're on the below round. Yeah, but I mean, the stars are cool. I definitely think that astrology that we're fed is probably a psyop from the elites. I think they know the real astrology, and they give us like the crappy shit version. You know what I mean? Like, because dude, like several years ago, they said they discovered the 13th sign. What was it, like a Hercules with a snake? Remember?
Something like.
Do you
that,
remember
yeah.
hearing this shit?
Yeah, I think so.
So I
but-
wonder. I was like, okay, if the 13th sign is real, that means all of astrology has been bullshit for all these thousands of years.
Well, there's.
You know?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is a discrete event, so it might not mean that. But
Okay.
I hear people argue about this stuff all the time,
Yeah.
and it's because I'm interested in astrotheology and astrology in a sense.
Yeah.
But it's not like astrology to try to understand
Yeah.
Personalities and this kind of stuff.
I can't help but be like a skeptic with a lot of it, man.
Well, of course, but
Sammy likes astrology.
But
she's a girl now.
It means something. It means something that is so much more valuable.
Chicks dig it.
Listen to me, damn it.
Okay.
Astrology is so much more important on understanding how reality is playing out than it is about finding love or any of that kind of stuff. I found it more important, and I don't find the other one to have any verity.
Yeah.
However, you remember that Nietzsche quote? Like, there's a momentum in the way that we've been impressed over tens of thousands of years by the story of the stars, and as time has gone on, it's just been twisted and twisted and twisted until it's just unidentifiable. But it's all encoded in all the scriptures from every religion, you name it. And so now we have this capacity, this ability to map the stars so discreetly. We can see them better now than we could when we could actually see them.
Right.
And it took a lot of observation to accumulate these massive storytelling processes that basically say, okay, at this time of year, these stars will be in this category, or area. And so there's just endless variety in it. And again, sometimes an event will happen, like an alignment, that does create a special sort of circumstance. So a 13th sign, for example.
I'm kind of like into like astronomy. I dig astronomy because it all comes back to like viewing.
Well, this great thing about astrology, though, is that it's storytelling.
No, astronomy.
No, I know.
Yeah. But okay, sorry.
So that's the part to me that is appealing, is that astrology kind of gives it a story so that it's not just dry astronomy. You know what I mean? Because yet I don't really need to know the exact coordinates of whatever. If I know the story, I know the symbol that's being impressed.
Right, like Horus.
And where does it come from?
Yeah, the Egyptians were really big into that shit. I love Egypt, man.
What does it coincide with, for example? And the
stars and shit. Yeah.
So much of what we see as world religion right now is a bastardized, twisted, humanized, occulted. I don't know if that's the right word, but
I mean, it all goes back to the mystery schools, really, and people don't want to hear that shit.
No, they don't.
No, it's
not.
not.
Life's so much easier when there's no mystery.
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap it, dude. Is that cool?
That's fine with me.
Okay. I think we got deep, man. Okay. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Y'all have a good day. And do you want to plug anything, your art or anything? I know you said on the phone.
I don't really have anything to plug at this point.
You sure? You
Yeah.
promise?
Everything is in the wings.
Okay. All right. See you guys.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.